Hey everybody, welcome back to Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. This is part 4 as I document my return to DC training. Let's get to it. Just in case anyone was wondering, I am not going to show every workout over the next 12 weeks, but I do think it's important to show the first 6 so you can see my exercise selection and so I can go over the basic principles of DC training.
Here is the calendar I showed in my last video, and it's just a sample DC month. B and L stands for bicep and legs, UB stands for upper body, so there are 3 bicep and leg workouts that I rotate throughout this 12-week program and 3 upper body workouts that I continue to rotate throughout this 12-week program. Today was my B or second chest, shoulder, tricep back width, and back thickness workout. I will do my best to keep the same exercises for each A, B, and C workout, but at some point I'm sure that I'm going to plateau on a given exercise, and when I do, I'll just swap it out for a different exercise.
My chest exercise for today is a very slight incline on the Powertec Smith machine. So I'll start with just the weight of the bar, which is 45 pounds, and I'll do this 12 times just to make sure everything feels good. Warm-up set number 2 is just 225s. This one I'll do 8 times. Warm-up set number 3, 245s, only 4 times. Now it's time for my rest pause set. I only have 245s, 2 10s, and 2 2.5s on here. This exercise, for whatever reason, always feels heavy to me, heavier than what it should, but I want to get good at it and I want my numbers to go up. So I'll start low and then hopefully over the course of 12 weeks, this will be an exercise where I jump up considerably.
Like every upper body training day, I start off by doing the McGill Big 3, and then 500 meters on the Concept 2 ski erg, and then 500 meters on the Concept 2 rower, and then I use the bands to further warm up my muscles. In my last video, I mentioned the supplements I take, and again, all of these supplements are 100% legal. They can be purchased at bodybuilding.com, GNC, or Vitamin Shop. And for today's workout, I had 300 milligrams of caffeine, 4 grams of beta-alanine, and 8 grams of citrulline, just all mixed in water, so therefore I don't have any sweeteners or dyes. And oddly enough, I think it tastes pretty good.
And in DC, it's always good to stop on the negative. After 15 deep breaths, it's time for rest pause set number 2.
A few months back, I did a review for the Powertec Roller Smith machine. If anybody wants more information about it, check out that video. And I've always liked the Smith machine, specifically for incline press variations. Also, while this set is going on, I want to mention how sore my legs are from my 3rd DC training video. It's something about that leg press. Out of all of my leg machines, the leg press makes my legs the most sore. While this set is wrapping up, I do want to mention that the barbell flat press is not recommended in DC training due to the risk for pec tears.
15 deep breaths, and then the final rest pause set.
Prior to this DC 2-way split, I was working out 6 days a week, but now I'm working out 3 days a week, so it's safe to say I'm chomping at the bit and like a bull in a china shop before every workout, and that's actually a good thing. Oddly enough, I think exercises feel harder on the Smith machine than they would if I was using a barbell, and there is some friction to be expected because you have 2 different materials making contact with one another, the rollers and the guide rod, but overall the machine is extremely smooth.
Ooh. 9, 7, and 4, now it's time for my extreme stretch. If I go back and evaluate that last exercise, which you have to do with every exercise in DC training, I did not get 12 on my first rest pause set. However, over the course of 3, I ended up getting a total of 20. So the next time I do that exercise, I am not going to go up in weight. I am going to keep it exactly the same, and hopefully I will be able to beat at least 9 on that first set and definitely 20 over the course of the 3 rest pause sets. Now I'm moving on to my extreme stretch for chest, and last time I had 40s. This time I have 40s again because I'm trying to increase my second count for this extreme stretch. And what's so nice about extreme stretching is that quite often I get a better pump in the muscle group that I'm stretching than I do in the actual muscle group that I am doing a strength training exercise for. So I'll try to beat 40 seconds is what I got last time. So hopefully 45 to 50 seconds on this extreme stretch. I got 55 seconds on my extreme stretch for chest. Now I'm moving on to shoulders. I've mentioned before that I have something weird going on in my upper back, so I can't do strict overhead press movements. Instead, when I do shoulders, I normally do incline movements. Today, however, in this B workout, my shoulder exercise is a dual arm lateral raise. So here's my warm-up set. And I planned the B workout this way. So if you think back to the chest exercise that I just did, it was at a slight incline. So that does do a good job of hitting the chest, the upper chest, and the anterior deltoid. And in this exercise, we'll do a good job of hitting the medial deltoid. Warm-up set number 2. Now it's time for my rest pause set for shoulders. I have 40 pounds on the weight horns. I hope to get 12 repetitions on this first set.
I really like this setup with the chains because I'm able to work both shoulders with only one pulley, and I showed this exercise in my top 10 hacks and DIY video. Taxing forms of cardio are not recommended in DC training, so for example, I won't be doing any high intensity interval training because it cuts down on the ability to recover from your strength training. So instead, steady state cardio is recommended. For example, walking on a treadmill at an incline for 30 minutes 3 times a week. I don't have a treadmill, so I just walk my 2 knucklehead dogs, my boy Rhyme and my girl Fiona. We live in a hilly neighborhood, and they get about a mile walk a day.
15 deep breaths, then rest pause set number 2. Rest pause set 2.
I am using 2 revolving handles, which makes this exercise feel much more smooth and much more comfortable.
Fifteen deep breaths. My final rest pause set for shoulders. I may need to go back and watch the video, but I think I got a total of 24 repetitions on that rest pause set. So the next time I do that exercise, I'll go up a 2.5 on each side of the weight horns. And sometimes I'll only go up a collar on each weight horn. And Powertec sells these with basically every piece of equipment, and they're about £1 a piece. So sometimes this is a really valuable tool. Last time for shoulders, I used 40 pounds on the functional trainer for my extreme stretch. I'm going to use 40 pounds again, and I'm just going to try to beat my second count. Moving on to my rest pause set for triceps, I'm going to do a close grip press. I'm going to be using the Titan Fitness angled multi-grip bar. And I'm on the outside of the Powertec power rack. If you remember back, my first exercise that I showed in this DC routine for triceps was the Titan Fitness seated dip machine. So this is the one that I'm using for my B workouts. Just 2 25s as I continue warming up. It's been a long time since I've tried to push this exercise, so I'm not really sure where to start. I'm going to start conservatively. Probably just with 2 45s as my rest pause set. Now it's time for my rest pause set for triceps. I hope to get at least 12 repetitions on my first rest pause set.
This Titan multi-grip bar is a great buy, and it made my list for my favorite pieces of home gym equipment from $100 to $200. And this bar also broke the top 10 in ranking my 18 Titan fitness products video. I am using the Powertec PR19 Power Rack. I did a review for this Power Rack, and it was one of my first Powertec reviews, so it's not one of my better reviews, but I feel like this channel has always been more about information over presentation, and I am trying to get better with my videos as I've gotten a mic and some other things, so hopefully that video will help you if you are interested in the Power Rack. And for anybody who's wondering, I'm using the next to the closest grip. 15 deep breaths and then rest pause set 2. In my review for the PR19 Power Rack, I mentioned that the safety spotter arms, which are add-ons, need to be considerably longer. I just finished 15 deep breaths, and now it's time for my final rest pause set. In DC training, sometimes it is better to use machines than free weights, just simply because you can push yourself harder and more safely. But I did want to have one barbell exercise in this rotation of exercises. For my tricep exercise, I got a total of 23 repetitions. Next time, I'll go up just 2.5 on each side of the bar. Now it's time for my extreme stretch. I have 90 pounds on the weight horns. This is the same stretch that I did last time for triceps. I'll just try to beat how long I held it. I'm at about the halfway point in my workout, and I finished my intra-workout protein drink. I'm now moving on to HydroCharge. I added some citrulline to this and some caffeine to help power me through the rest of the workout. Hopefully the citrulline will help with pumps a little bit. I feel like I'm a little bit off today. I'm not hitting the numbers that I want to. I don't have the focus that I have most workouts, but I'm going to keep going. I'll evaluate my sleep, what I ate yesterday, my water intake. All of those things will come into play and affect the next day's workout. But anyway, this supinated pull down is my back width exercise. I'll do a couple of warm-up sets. Mike Mincer was always big on this supinated grip for pull downs because it does hit the biceps pretty well in addition to the lats. Warm-up set number 2, I added 2 35s, and it's never too late to turn a so-so workout into a great workout, so I'm gonna try to amp myself up and get the most out of this back width, and then later to come back thickness exercise. 8 repetitions here. Time for my first rest pause set. I have 2 45s, 2 35s, and 2 25s on the weight horns. I'm shooting for 12 repetitions. I'm using one of 5 of the knockoff mag grips that comes in a set for $129.99 from Walmart. This is truly one of the best deals that you will ever find, and while they are not as nice as the real mag grips, they are a decent alternative, and they made my list for my favorite pieces of home gym equipment from $100 to $200. I've got more. Ooh. 14 and then 15 deep breaths. Rest pause set 2. I'm using the Levergym for my pull down exercise, and I have a lot of videos and a lot of content showing how versatile and how awesome the Powertec Levergym is. So check out any one of my 4 hack videos, and on Instagram I'm always posting exercises using the Levergym. I'll mark that as about 7.5. 15 deep breaths. Last rest pause set. I would like to have a pull-up exercise for one of my back width exercises. However, I seem to plateau so quickly on pull-ups, and from time to time they do aggravate my elbows and shoulders, so I've just found that I can push these pull-down movements a lot harder.
I think that was 6. A lot of pain in the lats. Extreme stretch for lats. Last time I used the Harbinger straps. Today I'm going to try to use the Cobra grips to see if these work better than those. And I'm shooting for 60 to 90 seconds. Eventually I'll get to the point where I can hang for 90 seconds. At that point, I'll add weight to this stretch. I got 50 seconds on my stretch, and for anyone who's wondering, these Cobra grips do work better, at least for me, than the Harbinger straps. It's time for my last exercise of the day, which is my back thickness exercise. This won't be rest paused. I'm doing a seated row. I have my foot plate on the Levergym. I just have an old SoloFlex mat that I have laying around just so that I don't have to sit on the floor. I have my Angles 90 grips on there, which allows me to get a deep, full range of movement instead of if I had one of the other grips where I have to kind of stop there. I'll shoot for 12 repetitions. I have a 45 on each weight horn. This is one exercise that in the past I've had to be careful with. I have aggravated or tweaked my lower back with this exercise. To play it safe for my first work set, I am going to just have 2 45s and 2 35s on there just to see how it feels on my lower back. But I'm shooting for at least 12 repetitions.
These Angles 90 grips are extremely versatile. I love using them, and they made my list for my top 10 home gym pieces under $100. After evaluating this exercise and the way that it felt, I'm actually, after day 1, going to swap it out for a chest-supported pulley row, still using the Angle 90s, still at the same weight, but my chest will be supported because I am so cautious about my lower back. I just don't think this is a good exercise for me.
I was probably like 13 and a half because I got a little sloppy on that last repetition. I went back and looked at that last set and it looked a little sloppy, especially towards the end. So I will try to tighten up my form a little bit on this second set, which is also my last set for the day. I've rested 2 minutes between that set and this set that I'm getting ready to start. I've jumped up 2 25s and I am leaning forward ever so slightly just because I feel better muscle engagement leaning forward instead of sitting strictly upright like that.
While this set is going on, I want to again emphasize the importance of not trying to tweak this program unless you are seriously extremely advanced. For example, I'm not going to add extra exercises here or there because it will decrease the effectiveness of the program. It will cut into my ability to recover, and sometimes less is more.
I feel my lower back talking to me a little bit, so I need to be careful. That concludes my first upper body B-day, and to be quite honest with you all, it was not the greatest training day, and those are going to pop up along the way, but I did my best to talk myself into having a good workout, and overall, if I had to grade that workout, it was probably a B-. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you all are finding this DC training series helpful. If so, please consider liking the video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. You can find me on Instagram at Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. Take care, everyone.